Well, my router is sitting on my desk and my Unraid server is sitting on my desk. 2 SSDs have failed on my Unraid server and I'm currently running on my backup internet connection. So naturally, I decided this was the perfect time to install some KVMs, one on my pfSense router and one on my Unraid server. And right now, my network rack is a complete disaster. Between failed SSDs, equipment spread across my desk, and cables everywhere, this is probably the worst my rack has looked in a long time. But it also makes this the perfect opportunity to add something I've wanted for a while: true out-of-band management. I'm Adam with GotWire, and today we're going to be installing the JetKVM on my pfSense router with the power and reset board installed in it, so I can remotely control the power button and the reset button using my backup internet. And I'm going to be installing the GL.iNet Comet KVM on my Unraid server so I can remotely control that also. The goal is simple: even if my main network goes down, I want to be able to see the console, access the BIOS, and remotely reboot my router from anywhere. So first things first, I say we get the JetKVM unboxed and install it in my pfSense router. So you get the little JetKVM here. It has Ethernet, HDMI, USB-C, and then it has a little plug for the control board that plugs into. So it comes with a HDMI cable, a USB-C splitter, one side to control the computer, and then the other side to power the JetKVM. And then it comes with a USB-A, the USB-C cable for your PC. And for the GL.iNet, I already unboxed it. It comes with the GL.iNet Comet, RJ45 port, USB-C to power it, HDMI, USB-A, and then another USB-C for keyboard and mouse. It also comes with a HDMI cable that you plug from here into your server. Comes with a USB-C to USB-C cable to plug from here to your server for keyboard and mouse. And then it also comes with a USB-C to USB-A if your PC doesn't have USB-C on the motherboard. And then you get a tiny little Ethernet cable with the GL.iNet Comet, one of those flat Ethernet cables. I probably won't use this. They're really cheap. I'd replace it with something else. I'll have links to better Ethernet cables down in my description if you guys want to help out the channel. To get you a really cool slim Ethernet cable, that way it's just real easy to throw in a bag and take with you. And this is my pfSense router. It's just gaming components that I stuck in a 4U case, and I 3D printed a little badge here that says pfSense, and then I colored it in with white Sharpie. So we'll take the top off this and get this board slotted into it. So on this board that goes in the PC, you get 2 brackets. You get a full height bracket, and then you also get a half height bracket. So on my case here, I just punched out a full height bracket. And on the inside here, it doesn't need a PCI Express slot, so I'm just sticking it there because that's the most free slot I have where it won't potentially touch one of these and short out. So obviously it'll look better with the bracket, but it's just not slot in there like that. The cable plugs into it there where the card will be slotted out, and then on the back of the JetKVM it has a port here under the HDMI that it plugs into. So I'm gonna get this bracket screwed to the board and I'm gonna get it installed in there, and I'll show you guys the finished product. So we get everything hooked up. There on the top is all the button switches that go to the case, and then on the bottom it has that colored cable. You just match up the colors with the top there, and then inside the PC case, it's kind of hard to see, but all those colors hook up there on the pins, and that's a pain in the butt if you don't have small fingers. And then after you do some cable management, it just slots in there like that, and that allows the JetKVM to power cycle the computer and reset the computer. Well, I got it slotted in there. Excuse the cable management, it's a router, so I'm not gonna get too fancy with it. And then on the back here, I have my LAN labeled and my WAN labeled. And then this plug just plugs into here. It looks like a little RJ11 plug, old school phone jack. And then you just plug it into there, and like I said, on the back of the JetKVM, it just slots into that special port under the HDMI. And on the back, I just popped out another punch out. I think I'm gonna let it live in there. I'm just gonna attach it with some 2-sided sticky tape and just leave it in there because the cord that it came with is too short to put to the front of my rack to put that on a rack mount. So that is just gonna live in there, and I'm probably gonna get a adapter to power it with PoE. You can buy a little USB-C adapter that gets power from PoE, and it'll have a Y cable, one for the USB-C and one for Ethernet. Well, that's what I ended up with for the JetKVM. I just have it sitting in there with all the cables plugged into the back. All the cables are really short to plug into your motherboard and your HDMI, so if you buy one of these, make sure you take that into consideration. And on the back here, this one is for power, and then this one is for data for it, the Ethernet cable for it. So now that we got that installed and the router here, I'll move the server up here and we'll start on the server. So on the inside of my server, I have a couple of cache SSDs. They're all 1 terabyte. That's a silicon power, that's a silicon power, and that's a 990 Pro Samsung. So the only one that hasn't failed is the Samsung 990 Pro. That one has failed, and that one is drawing a bunch of errors. So we're gonna remove that 1 terabyte, remove that 1 terabyte, and install the Samsung 980 Pro that I bought off eBay, because I can't afford 2 of those with the market today. So we'll go ahead and get this one taken out, and this one I already removed from Unraid because it just straight up died. So we'll get that one taken out, and I'll test them later and see if they actually are dead or if it's just something with the motherboard. But I know for sure one's dead, and like I said, that one's drawing errors. So we'll get them removed here and get that one slotted in. So we got that one removed. This one here, I love this case because all you have to do on this is press down your SSD, and that little retainer screw right there, all you have to do is move it and it locks it down. So there's no tiny screws you have to mess with. So now that we got that installed, we'll work on getting the GL.iNet Comet hooked up, and I'm probably going to do the same thing I did with the other one, just stick this in the case somewhere. Alright, and there's the finished product. I just have it 2-sided sticky tape to the side of my case, HDMI, power, Ethernet. Like I said, I'm going to get a Y cable. I'll show it on screen up here. And it takes PoE in and converts it to Ethernet out, and then USB-C out. That way you can power this with PoE. But right now, I'm just using this power brick to power it. We got HDMI plugged up, USB-C for keyboard and mouse. That's the Unraid flash drive, and then they all come out that hole right there. So I got power and I got Ethernet. So as you can see, I got everything installed in the server. I just got to rack it up here. I have a shelf in my rack that I just set it on since I don't have the rack rails for it. So I'm gonna get this racked up and plugged up. All right, now I got my router. I'll get this router racked up now. And the nice thing about having this on a shelf is I don't have to do any screws for it, and then the router can just sit on top of it temporarily till I get it screwed in. And as you can see, my router turned on. I have it set so when I plug it in, it automatically turns on. So that way if there's a power blip or my UPS down here dies, when it gets power back, it'll automatically turn back on. Since it's a gaming motherboard, I had to go into the BIOS and turn that on. But if you buy like a Netgate appliance or a regular router, they do that by default. So now I just gotta plug up the server and then put in the screws for my router. I just wanted to get my router back up because that's the important part. So that way my main network comes back up. Well, I ran into a problem. My Cloud Gateway Ultra up there, I'm out of Ethernet ports, so it looks like I'm buying me a switch. But the important one is the router. I have that plugged up and it should be working. So we'll go upstairs and I'll show you guys the network side of how I have everything connected. All right, I got them both plugged in and racked up, and my internet is working. Here's pfSense working. So I have internet access now on my main LAN. And then this is the other router at 10.0.2.1, the Unify router that I have my backup internet connection plugged into, that I have the 2 KVMs plugged into. You can see the one here, GL.iNet KVM, is at 2.151, and then the JetKVM is at 10.0.2.46. Now I'm going to go in here and set statically assigned IP addresses through DHCP reservation. That way I always know the IP of them and I can always find them. And they don't change on me and I have to go in here and look and see what IP they switch to. And it's a really good thing that I installed these KVMs on the server and on the router, because when I plugged up the server, of course it didn't boot. So I logged into the KVM and I was able to look at the console to see where it was hung up at, and it turns out I put some of the wires underneath my USB drive and I made it so my USB drive was funky, so it wouldn't boot correctly. So I had to unseat my USB drive, reseat it, and it booted in Unraid. Now if you plan on installing Unraid in the future, they do make it so you can install it on SSDs now internally to your server. You don't have to have it on a USB drive. Mine's just a really old install and I haven't swapped it over yet. So we'll go to the IP address of the GL.iNet KVM, and that's the one that I have hooked up to my Unraid server. And I already set it up when I first got it, but it'll ask you to make an admin password, so I already made my admin password. And we always got to change it to dark mode. I can't stand white mode. I don't know about you guys. And here's what the console looks like. It's really small, but I can see my IP address down here, 192.168.4.4. That's what I assigned to my server. And then when I click in, it says NAS login, so I can just type in root, and then I can type in my password. And now that I logged in with my password, I have root access to my server and I can manage it remotely from anywhere, especially with my WireGuard server that I have installed on both my routers. So like I said, that came in really handy when my server went boot, because instead of dragging a monitor down there and a keyboard and mouse or trying to hook it up to the server while it's in the rack, I just type in the IP address and I can see the console and see where it's getting hung up at. And then the JetKVM that is plugged into my router will go to its IP address. It gives you a cool animation, welcome to JetKVM, set up your KVM, and then we definitely want to have a password since it's my router. Well, this is what you get when you log in. You can see the console of my router. So you can go up here in the top right, click on full screen, and it'll show you the full screen. And it says here 8, so I can type in 8, hit enter, and I can get into the shell. So I'm in the shell here. I can do all my commands I need to do with my router. And then also up here in the top right, if I click on extension, I can power cycle the router, or I could also reset the router. Either one will reboot the router. And it says hold for 3 seconds to force off. So you have to hold it for 3 seconds to force it off. I'm assuming they mean for the power button and the reset, just so you don't accidentally hit that and reboot it when you don't mean to. That feature I think is really cool. You can do that from anywhere, especially if you have a VPN like me. I have WireGuard and OpenVPN that I can get into this router and also get into my other backup router through my internet connection. And that's what these are connected to, is my backup router 10.0.2.46, and I have the two routers connected. My backup router, which is a Unify one, and then my main router, which is pfSense. If you see here this router link, that's what I named the interface, the 10.255.255.1. That's how the routers talk to one another. I just ran an Ethernet cable from one router to the other. So that way if pfSense is down, I can still get into this router and access the KVM and see if the router is down, or see what's up, or see if there's a configuration problem, or see what's going on, which I think is really cool. Now there's one last thing I have to do. Since I put that SSD on my server, I have to swap that SSD out, the one that was drawing errors. I'll put a picture of it on screen. That was drawing a ton of errors. So if we look here, if I hit main and go down to my pool devices, it says device 2 is missing. So Samsung SSD 981 terabyte, that's what I put in there, and it's going to replace the SPCC, which is silicon power. And then we just hit start here. So since we got that error, we're going to try it this way. We're going to leave it with 2 slots, leave that second one missing, and then hit yes, I want to do this. Start will remove the missing pool disk and then bring the array online. So we'll hit start here, and now it's letting us start the array. So now that it let us start the array, we only have one cache device here. So if we stop the array, proceed, we should be able to add that second SSD that I put in, the new one. So now we go down here and hit 2 slots, and then we should be able to pick our SSD that we put in. So now we have 2 SSDs here. All existing data on this device will be overwritten. That's fine, there's nothing on it. And then start, we want to start the array. And that's what Unraid makes you do if your new device is a little bit smaller than the old one. You have to do it that way, kind of complicated, but you can get it working if you mess around with it enough. So now Unraid has both cache devices, and there's no errors, luckily, anymore at least. And then I have my JetKVM hooked up to my router, so I can remotely control my router and power cycle it if I need to. And then the GL.iNet KVM, I have that hooked up to my Unraid server, so I can remote manage that also. Well, what I thought would be a quick afternoon project turned into an all-day one. Between replacing the SSDs, aka sticks of gold, and installing the KVMs, routing cables, getting everything mounted back in the rack, and testing it all, this definitely took longer than I expected, and I'm sure that's happened to you guys too. But in the end, I can now remotely access my pfSense router console and also my Unraid server console and manage everything even if my main network goes down. I'd call that time well spent. If you wanted to check out any of the hardware or buy any of the hardware I've used in this video, I'll have links down below in the description. They're Amazon affiliate links. They don't cost you anything extra. They just help the channel out. If this video helped you out, or if you just enjoyed hanging out while I worked on my Homelab, do me a favor and smash the like button so hard it has to reboot. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell so you don't miss out on any future Homelab builds, networking tutorials, and tech reviews. But that's all I have for you guys today. I'm Adam with GotWire, and I'll see you guys on the next one.